This is Shanieri as a health center. Today we're going to be doing a live sculpture treatment. Sculpture is a non-invasive fat reduction treatment. We have our demo client here, Danielle, who's going to help us out today. So throughout the live stream today of today's treatment, you can definitely type in questions. If you have any comments or questions, just let us know, and then we'll answer them as we can throughout the treatment. So for those who are interested in finding out more about sculpture, I do free consultations here in the office. We'll talk about what your particular needs are. I do incorporate elements in my weight loss program with it as well. So hopefully you can hear me through this mask, but essentially what we're going to do today is treat Danielle's lower abdomen. Sculpture, like I mentioned earlier, is a treatment that helps with stubborn body fat. So if there's areas on your body that don't respond to regular diet and exercise, this is a very effective treatment for that. Another great thing about sculpture is that it's non-invasive, meaning it's non-surgical. We don't have to do any incisions, no anesthesia, and because of that, it's very low risk, and there's no downtime after your treatment. Each treatment is only 30 minutes, as you'll see today when we demonstrate. We've been doing sculpture now for, I want to say about 3 years. We've done over 200 procedures with about a 95% success rate. So my focus with my clients is, yes, we're going to help target and reduce the body fat, but more importantly, we're going to help with the weight loss and the overall health and wellness improvement as well. So anybody, if you have questions, definitely leave a comment or a question in the comments area, and we'll make sure we get to it today. So, Danielle, you ready? Okay, so right now I have Danielle all hooked up. I'm going to apply the laser, it's almost like a lubricant solution before we start the treatment. So we have 4 laser heads, look just like this, okay? It's a little cold going on, okay? Where is your pose there? There you go. So I'm applying all the laser heads here. And the thing about sculpture is that because it uses heat, it has a spreading effect. So even though I'm targeting Danielle's lower abdomen area, her outcome may actually show reduction in her upper abdomen as well. Sometimes even the sides may come down too. So that's the awesome part about the sculpture. I'm going to go ahead and adjust this a little bit more. How does it feel, Danielle? On the sides there? Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're just getting all adjusted here, making sure we have all green lights ready to go. Okay. Feel okay? All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. The first 4 minutes of the treatment is what we call the build-up phase. It'll slowly, it's a targeted heat that'll slowly start to heat up those fat cells. It gradually lets the body get accustomed to the changes, and then we go into the higher intensity heat. Throughout the entire treatment, it is heating and cooling, so it's going to kind of happen in waves. It's pretty well tolerated. I've had the treatment done myself as well. So we're going to go ahead and get started, okay? All right. All right, so you should feel like a cooling sensation. Mm-hmm. And then it'll slowly start to heat up Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, sculpture is, and many of you may have heard of pool sculpting. And what differentiates pool sculpting from what we're doing here, which is called warm sculpting. Pool sculpting uses freezing and suction to help target and destroy the fat cells, whereas warm, sculpture uses warm heat. So with warm sculpting, when we're using that warm heat, it's not as traumatic to the body like the pool sculpting is. Also, like I mentioned earlier, the added advantage is when heat hits a surface, it has a spreading effect. So we're targeting the lower abdomen, but we're also going to see flattening and reduction of the upper abdomen as well as the sides, what we call the lower flanks. Okay? How does it feel? Pretty good. Okay. All right. So we're still in the build-up phase. So with each treatment, we expect up to 25% reduction in body fat. So essentially, it should be a noticeable change. Even within the first 4 to 6 weeks, most of my clients start to see those differences. It takes about 12 weeks to see the final results. Feeling okay? So another thing is with sculpture, our sculpture packages, I generally include 2 series of treatments. So you would get your first treatment and then 6 weeks later your second treatment. Along with that, I do incorporate elements of the weight loss program. And the weight loss program, essentially we have the natural appetite suppressants, the lipotropic injections, and these are really to help with the weight loss. On average, I see at least 5 to 20 pounds of weight loss during the 12-week course of the treatment process, I should say. Again, we're using your body's natural mechanisms to help reduce and eliminate the body fat. So a question I get a lot is, okay, what happens to those fat cells that are destroyed and how it works? So again, sculpture being a laser treatment targets, heats up those fat cells and basically destroys them. So once those dead fat cells are destroyed, over time, your body will absorb it and eliminate it through your urinary system. First the lymphatic and then your urinary system. So you basically pee it out over time. The results are permanent. So once we do this treatment and destroy the fat cells, they're gone forever. Your body will not reproduce new fat cells to replace it. So that's the advantage of sculpture. It's definitely a non-invasive alternative to surgery. Those who've ever considered liposuction, which is a surgical procedure, a little bit more higher risk with that. It does require a lot of downtime. So that's the advantage of sculpture as well, is that there's no downtime. There's basically 30 minutes of treatment and no downtime. You can go on about your day without having to stay home and recover. Okay. All right. So that was us going into the extended phase. How do you feel, Danielle?
I'm good.
Pretty good? Okay. All right. So it might feel a little intense, a little bit more intense. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you some cooling. So I mentioned earlier I've had the treatment done myself, and it was very effective. I know for a lot of moms, I have 2 kids. For a lot of moms, that lower abdomen is very hard to get rid of. Exercise, diet, you do everything, and it still kind of is hard to get rid of. Especially with my clients who had like C-sections, this is an ideal treatment because, again, we can target that body fat. Okay? All right. So you're doing great.
Yeah.
How does it feel? How would you describe it?
A little cool mixture between going from cold to warm.
Mhm.
Like nothing. It's not too intense
Yeah.
at all. I'm comfortable.
Pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would describe it kind of like putting a heating pad on your stomach. Yeah.
Or like even like if you massaging like an icy hot, you know how it goes
Right.
from cool
To the heat.
yeah.
Exactly. So it's kind of the waves of the heating and then the cooling. So it's made to be, pretty comfortable throughout the process. It kind of feels like a pressure when it's heating up and then a release when it's cooling.
Yeah.
If that's how you could, yeah, that's how I would describe it.
That's how it feels right now.
That's how it feels, yeah. Yeah. So for anyone who has any questions, comments, definitely let us know in the chat menu. All right, do we have any questions? Not yet? Okay. So another common question that I get is, what happens if after your treatment you get, the fabulous, great results, but then later on, if you were to gain weight? So the fat cells are still gone. The thing about sculpture is it's in fact permanent fat reduction altogether. So it's not, even if you were to gain weight, you will still look smaller than if you had gained weight without having the procedure. You will still look different. And I've seen that countless times with a couple of my clients who did gain weight. There's even clients I've had who got the treatment, gained a little bit of weight, and they still look smaller than their original before photo. So it really is an effective treatment. Another way that we actually track, I'm gonna go ahead and increase it a little bit. You good?
Yeah.
Okay. Another way we track how effective your treatment is through a body composition analysis. So Danielle will do one. I forgot to do yours before we started. To where we basically measure your total weight and also your body fat, and more specifically what we call segmental body fat. So the scale that we have will actually measure the body fat percentage that she has in her upper torso. So when we do the treatment, we'll have a measurement for before the treatment and another measurement 6 weeks from now after the treatment. A way we can kind of get an idea if the treatment worked well is we should see a difference. We should see that come down. So I've seen anywhere on average between 1 to 5 pounds of body fat reduction with clients who've gotten the sculpture treatment. Actually, I did a consult earlier today, and I had a patient who literally, she lost 12 pounds over the course of the 12 weeks and 5 pounds of body fat just in the midsection. So pretty significant results. Now, I always tell people this isn't magical, right? You still have to do your part in regards to eating well, exercise, drinking plenty of water, basically a healthy lifestyle. What sculpture does is basically help us focus on specific areas in the body that you want it to reduce. So I know a lot of times, and Danielle, I don't know if you've experienced this, but you diet, you exercise, but there's just certain areas on the body that are just hard to get rid of. Yeah. For a lot of people, I think a good 80% of my clients, midsection and back fat is the problem. Yeah. And back fat is really hard to get rid of sometimes. So I always encourage, healthy eating, exercise, drinking plenty of water, along with, again, targeting with sculpture. Feel okay? All right. So yeah, there's times it feels a little intense, but then that cooling sets in right in time. Yeah. So I tell my clients, just imagine those fat cells burning up. Okay. But you're doing really well. All right. Any questions?
No, but Lori King Perry says she can't wait to try this treatment with you.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Absolutely.
And she says, thank you, Jackie O'Neill Suver, for the referral.
Oh, wonderful. Thanks for that, Lori. Got you all set up for next week. All right. You're doing great. So typically the average patient gets 1 to 2 areas of treatment done. Um, of course, like I said earlier, about 80% of what I treat is the midsection, but people can get multiple areas done. So we can treat the chin, we can treat the arms, the inner and outer thighs. Basically, anywhere there's what I call jiggly body fat, that's what we can treat. Okay.
Arms, like if people have different arms.
Yep, the arms. Yes. I've had clients say the wings. You can treat that as well. Yep. And another thing with the chin, of course, if people have double chins or any excess fat in that area, I do 2 treatments of the sculpture, and we also do skin tightening as well when we do the chin area. So that's another machine that I have that helps with that, a different laser. So I'll do another live on that treatment as well. I'll give you an extra toy. Feeling okay? Yep. Yeah, very simple procedure. So for those just tuning in, I'm going to kind of repeat a few of the things that I mentioned earlier. Sculpture is essentially a fat reduction treatment that helps with stubborn body fat. We can treat multiple areas. That's including the chin, the arms, the midsection, the back area, as well as the inner and outer thighs. It's a laser treatment that targets fat cells and destroys it from within. Your body absorbs those fat cells and eliminates it through your lymphatic system. You basically pee it out over time, okay? Those fat cells loss is permanent. So when we destroy the fat cells, it is a permanent fat reduction treatment. It is non-invasive, so we don't have to use any anesthesia. No type of incisions of any sort. It's purely a non-invasive laser treatment. So a lot of times I have my clients like on their cell phones or reading a book because you pretty much just lay here. So I monitor, the intensity for you, but for the most part, it's just as easy as laying down. All right. Feel okay? Yeah. So it looks like we're about halfway through the treatment. Goes by pretty fast here. Yep, so of course, because it's non-invasive, non-surgical, no scarring, no drains, no downtime for weeks. So I know a lot of us, especially moms who have young kids, we can't really afford downtime. So this is definitely a much better option. again, with all my sculpture clients, I do include elements of my weight loss plan. So not only are we helping you get rid of stubborn body fat, but we're helping you with the weight loss too. On an average, we see at least 5 to 15 or so pounds of weight loss for a majority of our sculpture clients. Excuse me, this mask. We do include the natural supplements for appetite control, as well as lipotropic shots. If anyone's familiar with the B12 shots, very similar to that, along with fat burning amino acids. So it essentially helps you lose weight a little bit faster. Okay, and typically with the shots, my clients come in once a week for those. And Danielle, you've been doing the lipo shots with us, right?
Oh yeah. Before I had the baby, they definitely. I mean, even with having him, it helped to drop down the baby weight. But prior to having him, it really helped a lot.
Right. Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. Awesome.
Along with the diet and exercise, but it helps to boost it. For
Right.
sure. You see a significant difference.
Absolutely. Yeah. Danny, I think before you had him here,
Yeah.
you were on our weight loss program, and you were doing the lipo shots, the appetite suppressants as well. And about how much weight did you lose?
I want to say I was down about 40 pounds.
Was it 40?
Yes.
Wow. I thought it was like 30 something. It was 40.
Yes. When I went in, when I had during my pregnancy, and then
Mhm.
we started weighing me, and that's when I had to stop doing it.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
40 pounds. Awesome. So, yeah. So, yes, definitely the weight loss plan helps along with the sculpture treatment. For sure. All right. So, we're past the halfway point. Doing okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
So just to show you, I guess if you can come in a little closer. So even though we're targeting the lower abdomen, we're going to see reduction as high up as here, and then even on her sides as well. So that's the advantage of sculpture, is that because heat has a spreading effect, it's going to treat a larger area. We've even had clients who saw reduction in their back fat, even though they just had their abdomens done. And that's because it kind of has a wraparound effect. So that's why I'm able to use these spacers here, because we know that that's going to also be treated along with the areas that directly are touching her skin. Okay, so we're definitely taking advantage of that spreading effect. And that way I can basically treat a much wider area of treatment. So this is a technique unique for our practice. In addition to us doing the lipotropic injections, we actually see a faster turnaround as far as results for our clients because of that. Can't wait to see your results. So before all of our sculpture treatments, we do an assessment, we do a body composition analysis, as well as a before photo. So that way you can see, once you come back in 6 weeks for your reassessment, how much you've changed and how effective the treatment was. So we do a total of about 3 or 4 photos over time to see your progress, of the sculpture during that time. We also do the body composition analysis, and again, that shows us how effective the treatment is in reducing the body fat. How's it feeling?
I'm good.
Pretty
A little
good?
warm, but I'm good.
Yeah, it's a little warm. Yeah, it definitely does. So you're at the max. I'm going to give you a little extra cooling. Any questions? Also, for anyone who comments or questions during this live cast, we will give you an additional discount on your treatment. So certainly if you have any questions, just let us know. on, all right? Still feeling the waves of the heat and the cold.
Yeah. It almost feels like a little bit, when you're doing stomach crunches.
Yep.
A little bit.
Like that effect, right? Like you've done an intense ab workout.
They are ready for when the outside is open.
Right, yes.
I can wear my swimsuit.
Exactly. Get you right by summer. All right, we're down to the last few minutes. Doing great. And just to show you, these are all the areas we can treat in the body. So you can see that there, the chin, the upper flanks, which is the back flat, the lower flanks, which is the muffin top, the abdomen, as well as the inner and outer thighs. So we can treat multiple areas of the body where we have the stubborn body fat. All right, Danielle, you're doing great. Almost done. And the sculpture treatment is pretty well tolerated. Everyone's different as far as their tolerance. I've had a lot of people actually fall asleep during their treatment. And there's others who feel a little bit more anxious, especially with the first treatment. You don't kind of know what to expect or what to feel. But typically by their second treatment, they're much better. They know what to expect and they know how it feels.
It's tolerable. There's like it just kind of like you said, it goes in waves.
In waves, yeah. So it should be cooling down. We have less than a minute left. So actually through the entire treatment, it's cooling your skin, but it's targeting and heating the fat cells underneath. So even after your treatment, you'll feel your skin like it's cool to touch, even though, with that heat underneath. Okay, just a few more seconds. feel some cooling.
It's not freezing, it's just
Yeah, just cooling, exactly. Yeah. So we're not needing to use any suction or anything traumatic. It's just very natural. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and disconnect the laser heads. And you can feel your skin. What does it feel like?
cool.
It's cool, right? Yep. Very cool to touch. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's essentially the treatment. As you can see, there's no marks, even though we use the laser. There's no discoloration. That's the awesome thing about warm sculpting is that it's not traumatic to the body. We're not using suction or freezing. There's no tinting. There's no tinting effect that you would typically see with like a cool sculpting. So you're looking good even after your treatment. So no issues there. Now, typically after the treatment, there's 3 things that I tell my clients: drink plenty of water, massage the areas that are treated, and then exercise, movement. All those things stimulate the lymphatic system, which is what's absorbing those dead fat cells. Over time, of course, that's when you're going to see that slimming effect. And like I said, about 4 to 6 weeks to start seeing some changes.
So if I did like, you know how when you work out, you put the split bands or anything like that, is that recommended or don't do that?
So typically I say wait about a week before doing any type of like body contouring or banding of any sort, just to allow that area to kind of heal up a bit. It can over time, yes, I've had clients who did the body contouring and they saw better differences with the fat reduction, but it's not necessary. Like you'll still see changes whether you use it or not. Okay, so thanks everyone for tuning in. Thank you, Danielle, for volunteering to get a treatment done today. And you can always call our office if you are interested in getting a free consultation. Basically, we go over, what treatment areas you want done. And then that way you also get pricing and basically an individualized plan for you. Right now, we are running a special for a single area of treatment. So if you're interested, definitely give us a call and we can schedule your consultation. Thanks for tuning in.